Greetings to one and all present here. My name is Ananya Arora and I am a part of the Conflux Rivista. We welcome you all to this live talk show. Today we have Dr. J. Vijayalakshmi here with us. I'd like to give her introduction to you. With a doctorate in English literature, J. Vijayalakshmi is an avid reader, a full-time teaching faculty at Marwadi University, and also a full-fledged poet and author. She has written 5 books so far, ranging from a novel to a collection of poetry. She is a gold medalist and a Triple Crown winner at Toastmasters International. She has recently won the Ugam Women's Award in the field of literature. Her latest book, Love Beyond Love, has been shortlisted for Coimbatore Literary Awards 2020. She has published more than 40 research papers in national and international journals. Welcome, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you for such a wonderful introduction. Yeah.
So, first of all, I'd like you to tell us something about your most recent book and other books as well.
Okay, fine. So I have published 5 books so far. The latest book, that is Love Beyond Love, is a collection of 190 poems. It has the theme of feminism, love, place of relationship, role of nature, and almost every human relationship that we face in day to day life. So these are the main themes in the poem, and actually there is also one more theme, that is what you and I as human beings, are we just social beings, or we have got a higher purpose to fulfill in life? So who am I? So that is the most essential question that I have focused in my latest work, that is Love Beyond Love. And the other works, that is the first book is a novel, that is Quest for God. The second one is Poems on the Eternal God, which is a collection of 150 poems. The third is Postmodernism, which is a result of 4 years of my research and PhD. The fourth one is Black, a tale of unfinished tales, wherein it deals with the themes of death, horror, and rebirth. And of course, Love Beyond Love is the latest one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that sounds very intriguing. Moving on to the first question. When did you first realize that you wanted to be a writer, and what exactly made you realize that you wanted to be a writer?
Yeah. So at the age of 16, I realized that I wanted to be a writer. And it all began when I wrote the first poetry. Like with a pen in my hand, I wanted to arch out a novel. So these are like, this is just one small quote that I wrote when I was just 16. So I had a lot of inspiration from nature, and the journey which began like, as what to say, like the journey which was just at a very trivial stage, it began, and in such a way that I wanted to find answers for all the complex questions in my life. So one such complex question is spirituality, and what are you doing on earth as human being? So this was the question that I was intrigued with mostly. So I wanted to find answers for all these questions. So that's how my literary journey began.
The very first book that you published was Quest for God, which is a very unique genre as compared to romance, thriller, or any other genre that we generally see. So, I mean, how did you come up with the idea of this? And
Yeah. So the first book, as you see, the title Quest. It is a sort of search. So as human beings, we have search for something in our life. So like for some, success or search is about happiness. For some it is after wealth. For some it is like gaining our own identity. So every human being has a very special purpose on life. So we are born as human beings so that we can fulfill that purpose in my life, in our lives. So here, the first book, that is Quest for God and Epiphany. And Epiphany is a moment wherein you realize what is the true purpose of your life. So that's how it all started. The novel, it is set in the rich background of India, rich cultural background of India. And the main character is Meenakshi Chaturvedi, who is in search of the eternal truth, the truth which I have defined as whether it is changing or whether it is momentary, or whether the truth can be achieved or not is still a larger question in picture. Yeah.
Okay. So, ma'am, you said the character is Meenakshi. So, while writing a book, it is difficult to choose upon characters and themes and finalize and frame everything. So, how did you come up with the characters? Are they real or inspired from someone, or are they totally fictitious?
Like some of the characters, it is inspired from day to day experiences, and some are fictitious. So, if when you have lot of experiences in your mind, so everything is in your mind as memories, as a part of forgetting and remembering. So it is just a mixture of all my characters. They are just a mixture of both imagination, and it some characters are very true to the core. So it's just a combination of these two things. Yeah.
Okay. So the what kind of research do you do, and how long do you spend researching before beginning a book, like before starting to write a book?
Okay, so that's an interesting question. Yeah, so it takes around 2 to 3 months for me to complete poetry. And the latest book I joined, like I started writing somewhere in the month of March, and then I was able to complete in the month of May. And for fiction, it would take around 6 months to 1 year to complete my book, because like a lot of research would go on in writing such books. So this is the time frame which I regularly fit into.
Okay. So, mom, from writing the first book to the most recent book, how have you emerged as a writer? How has your writing style changed, your timings, or something like that? Any?
Okay, yeah. So, like, I still remember when I published Quest for God, an Epiphany, and like it was a different experience altogether. And like after that, you published the second book, that is Poems on the Eternal God, then third, fourth, and then the latest book. The journey was actually very wonderful. Yes, as a writer, I have changed as a person. So like life has taught me so many new experiences, it has taught me so many new lessons. And if you see, like every day is an experience, we learn something or the other, like 365 days in a year, and every day we have a new experience, whether we are going for a walk, whether we are singing, or whether we are writing. So everything is a new experience. And at one point of time, when I started writing poetry, like I found words stopped coming, because that was because like there are a few words like which you cannot express, you can only experience, you cannot put it in words, you cannot make it into a poem, a novel, or a short story. So, like, I experienced these moments when words froze. And writing has helped me to become a better person, to become a better human being, and to connect more with the readers and the audience.
Okay. So, how many unpublished and half-finished books do you have, which you haven't thought of publishing yet, or are still?
Yeah. So recently I've started writing a collection of poems. It is entitled God. So what I have done is I'm just experimenting. Like I would write poem and prose put together.
Mhm.
And like I have just started writing. So it would take around 6 months to 1 year for me to complete. And I'm also doing a research to write a novel that is based on time and space. So time and space, these two are very interesting concepts. So if you see time, we say it is just say 5:25 or 5:30, that's it. But if when you are in the whole backdrop of the universe, so you have different dimensions, you have actually 10 dimensions of space. And then if you see, the eighth dimension is the most important dimension, because the superstring theory of scientists, they believe that it is the eighth dimension which has the history of all the universes. So if you see eight, so if you just put across, it would come out as the symbol of infinity. So I just want to experiment with this, but a lot of research would go into like peeping deep inside and peeping into the whole world of science. So this I wanted to write as a science fiction.
Okay. Ma'am, you have written books which relate to philosophy, kind of, and you are also gonna write a book regarding science. Which was your favorite subject when you were in school as a student?
Okay, when I was a student, actually, I loved philosophy, I loved history, and like if you see, I have done PhD on like Amitav Ghosh, wherein his main theme is to rewrite history. And philosophy, I loved it a lot because like I was so influenced by the root of all books, that is you have Vedas, you have Upanishads. So mainly I am being influenced by Isha Upanishad, which says that Isha Vasya idam sarvam, that is the God is eternal, the God is omnipotent, and the God is everywhere. So I just wanted to find out like how is that, like God or consciousness or nature is everywhere and all around us. So that's how like I wanted to become a writer, and that's how I was so carried away by Vedas and Upanishads.
Okay.
Yeah.
Vedas and Upanishads are really very informative and they answer a lot of things. I've read a bit about them as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what does literary success mean to you?
See, first of all, these terms, that is success, failure, they are just parameters to measure our life. So it's just like literary success, of course, okay, when you reach to the readers, when you reach to the audience. So that is literary success, but actually writing a book itself is a sort of a literary success. So success, if you see, like you live your life to the fullest, you express your life to the fullest. And success, it can be equated to bliss, it can be equated to happiness, and success is like living your way. So that's what I feel about literary success.
What are you generally found doing when you're not writing?
Okay, so when I am not writing, I am actually reading. So the question is so simple. So if you want to become a writer, first you have to read a lot of books so that you have deeper insight and a depth of knowledge that you would like to dwell into. And meditation has also helped me a lot to focus the inner strength in me, and actually it taps the potential which is hidden in us. So reading and also meditation helped me a lot to become a writer.
Okay. So, ma'am, which book is your favorite and which author is your favorite, and what genre do you prefer reading?
So my favorite book is Rumi, of course, poetry. So it's the Sufism of Rumi. So where I found a certain line that is like a shadow, I exist and I do not exist. So what is the meaning of these terms? That is, I exist and I do not exist. So I exist is a positive connotation, and I do not exist is a negative connotation. So when you make up your mind that I exist, I live. And when you make up your mind that I don't exist, you don't live. So this was how the poetry of Rumi, it changed me. And there is also reference to person and shadow. So person and shadow, it can be related to Chinese philosophy. That is, you have yin and yang theory. That is the positive and the negative forces trying to complement your earth, your personality, and trying to complement the entire universe.
Okay. So, ma'am, do you view writing as a kind of a spiritual practice?
Yeah, definitely. Writing is is a type of spiritual practice because the life of a writer is not so easy. Yeah, so you have to think a lot. You have to visualize before you write, and of course you have to read a lot, and then you have to be so vigilant that you have to see people in their shoes, like how you as the first person would fit into the shoes of other person as a third person. So it's like distancing ourselves from our own characters. So this is how like it all would work. Yeah.
Okay. So, ma'am, what was your friends and family's response when they got to know that your book was getting published for the first time?
Yeah.
The Quest for God.
Yeah, so my family and friends, they have played a major role in my literary success. So they have encouraged me a lot. So I would be grateful to my father and mother for believing in me, and my husband, who gave me a lot of inspiration and motivation to write. So they supported me a lot. And of course, so when your work is successful, so it is a different experience altogether and a remarkable feat. Yeah.
Ma'am, what all have you been doing during this lockdown period?
Okay, so during the lockdown period, like I was just trying to calm the mind because, like in tough situations like COVID, it is first essential.
Anxious.
Yeah, yeah. So it's first essential that you compose and yourself and be calm. So I have done meditation, I have done yoga, then I have read lot of books. So and I started writing, and so I keep busy with all these things. So and during lockdown, like I have started writing books also, new books also.
Okay. Okay, so the next question, ma'am, what environment and timings and other such things do you prefer while you're writing?
Okay, so actually, there is no such thing as definite time. So whenever the words come to you, and whenever your heart overflows of passions and emotions, you start to write. So it can be like say 5:30 in the morning, or say like 12 o'clock at night, or in the afternoon. You never know when your words will start coming. And when if you see poetry, it is poetry or writing. If you take English literature, they would say that in order to write poetry, or like in order to compose a work of art, you should be influenced by a muse. So you never know that when this influence would come. And also practice also makes you better. It's not that you should be inspired by a muse, it's the daily practice. So daily you write one page, so that becomes a habit, and habit is developed into action, and then you have goals set for you. Yeah,
That is important. That is practicing
yeah,
is the key.
truly
Um,
necessary.
you have also written an anthology, Black. Would you mind telling us a bit about that?
Okay, so if you see the title Black, in our human body, there are, like, if you see, there are 108 nadis, and in that you have seven main chakras. So you have, like, starting from the root chakra, which is red, and then you have the sacral chakra, and then you have the solar plexus, and then you have what is known as the heart chakra, which activates the heart, and then you have the throat, which is hum, and then you have the third eye, and then the crown chakra. So these are the different chakras. So if you see each one, it is different in color. You have red, you have orange, you have green, yellow, ending with purple. So there is no black in it. So black is the color which is connected to energy, and which that sort of energy which is considered to be darkness. So if you see the universe was first just a dark hole. So black, it is equated to dark hole, and universe, if you see, it is just made up of hydrogen and helium gases and nothing but dust. So our whole universe itself was born out of darkness. From darkness, we were lit. So I wanted to speak about the aspect of black, which is prevalent in the heart of every human being, and how we can actually overcome it. So, darkness, brightness, and happiness, grief are the two sides of the same coin. That is what you call as the binary opposites. So, these binary opposites is the main aspect that I wanted to work upon. So, that's how the title Black, and that's how the various themes of birth, death, and rebirth.
Ma'am, you just talked about happiness and grief. So do you think one of them can work without the other, or is that not possible?
Yeah, see, imagine that you have happiness throughout your life, and an average human span is around, say, 80 years. So you have only happiness. So are you going to value something in your life? Right? And then you have grief, then that will become a melodrama. So you will never know what is happiness. So universe has made us in such a way that it, like, everyone has a design to fulfill, everyone has a purpose to fulfill in our lives. So we all fit into this grand scheme of things, or we all fit into the grand design of things as human beings. And these terms, okay, that is, you have grief, you have happiness. So happiness, of course, is just a state of mind. Grief is also a state of mind. So it is the greater truth that everyone has to strive for.
Okay. So, ma'am, there is a question from the audience. It
Yeah.
is that as you have written more than one books and you are still writing some, so do you want each book to stand separately on its own, or are you trying to build a connection, to build a body of work with connections between each book?
Yeah, of course. So, if you see the first book, it was based on search. The second book also, it was based on quest and the various symbols associated with it. The third book was entirely a different one. It was based on postmodernism, but again, it dwelt with search. And again, Black, and also the book that is Love Beyond Love, it is based on the common theme, that is search, or what you call quest, based on symbols, based on images, and based on the value and purpose of life.
So, Ma'am, as we know that you're a gold medalist and a triple crown winner at Toastmasters International, could you
Yeah.
tell us about that as to what it is and everything else that you know?
Yeah, sure. So, like, I was a gold medalist at in MA at post graduation level, and also MPhil level, and also PhD level. So, so like, actually, it was a result of lot of hard work and persistence. And I graduated from Bardiyar University, that is Coimbatore. Yeah, and then you have yeah, you have Toastmasters. So this Toastmasters is a platform wherein you go and give your speeches and then you improve yourself. So it is a platform, there is no syllabus. You have to just go and give your speeches, and people would give feedback on your speech. So it's like by doing, you learn it.
Okay.
Yeah. And there are also so many levels in it. So it is to improve your communication skills and to be a leader in every field.
So, speeches on a particular topic or any speech that you want to give?
Yeah, any speech that you want to give. So, like, if you see, there would be various levels. Like, suppose level 1, it will, you can choose any theme. So level 2, it should be based on humor. Level 3, it can be like a sort of talk show. So the themes are like invariable and numerous.
Okay. So, what is the most surprising thing you discovered while writing your books? But I've listened this question. I don't know if it works because you've learned a lot of things, I suppose.
Yeah. So I have learned a lot of things, but the one most valuable lesson that I have learned is, like, to be a human. And, like, we as human beings have lot of responsibility. We are just united. If you see, the whole world is one family. We are not here to tear each one apart. We are just here to support and motivate each other so that we have a fulfilled life. So this is the main lesson that I have learned as a writer.
Okay. So there is another question from the audience, which is, do you think someone could be a writer if they don't feel emotions strongly, meaning if they're not empathetic enough?
Yeah, no, still you can be a non-fictional writer. Right? You can write about essays, you can write about what is happening in the world. You can just view everything from a third person point of view. Yes, you can do it. Even if you don't have emotions, even if you don't have passions, even if you don't have feeling, still you can write.
Okay. Ma'am, which book out of all the five that you have written is your favorite and why?
Yeah, out of all the books that I have written, my favorite book is of course Love Beyond Love. And like, if you see, I just wanted to show the cover page, okay, and the back page. So if you see, there is this mirror image, that is love, which is transformed as evol, and then you have a lady, okay, who is meditating, and then you have the symbol of the heart, which is heart chakra, and you have the chin mudra, and then you have nature, and then you have an aura around her. So here, if you see, the main themes are feminism based on nature, and the real place of human beings as human beings. So that's why it is so close to my heart. And if you see, there are two types of love. So one is momentary love, that is very unselfish, and the other one is transcendental, which is unselfish and pure. So it is like, I wanted to uh, tell that beyond love, there is only love and nothing else. Yeah.
Okay. So, ma'am, the cover of the book is a very important part because, contrary to what is said, that don't judge a book by its cover, many people do that. And it is important to choose the right cover which will attract attention. So, how did you choose this cover?
Okay. So the cover actually was designed by Notion Press. So they just gave me 2 3 samples to decide. So I had chosen this one, and it had come out very well. So pink, as you see, is the color which is associated with love, and then you have all these symbols. You have the mirror image, and mirror image is very important because mirror image is the point in your life wherein you don't differentiate between happiness and grief. You don't differentiate between anything in your life, and you are ready for something higher in your life, for a higher purpose in your life. So that's why I like this cover very much. Yeah.
Okay. So, the other question, there is another question from the audience. Do you read your book reviews and how do you deal with good or bad ones?
Yeah, of course I read good reviews. So good reviews, you can be happy with it, and bad reviews also, they are welcome because you have to improve every day. So like, I can still improve, so there would be still areas where I would need more improvement also. So it's okay whether it is bad or whether it is good. Yeah.
Okay. So, ma'am, you've recently won the Ugam Women's Award in the field of literature. So, how did you feel when you got the award and when you were nominated for it?
Yeah, so it was a different experience altogether. And the second book, that is Poems on the Eternal God, it was released by the Chief Minister of Pondicherry. And the fourth one, that is Black, it has won applause from Chief Minister of Gujarat, Sri Vijay Bhai Rupaniji. And it was also, no, I was very happy. And then in 2019, I had won the Udgam's Women's Achievers Award in the field of literature. So for the contribution that I have made to literature so far. And then the latest one, for the book Love Beyond Love, I have won Coimbatore Literary Awards 2020, that is second place in the category of poetry. So you feel very happy when your works are recognized by everyone. Yeah.
Mom, your latest and most favorite book, Love Beyond Love, has also been shortlisted for Coimbatore Literary Awards 2020.
Yeah.
So, how does that make you feel?
Yeah, actually, it was shortlisted and it has also won the second prize in
Okay.
yeah, Coimbatore Literary Award. Yeah.
Okay. So, ma'am, since you've gotten, uh, there is another question by the audience. Do you believe in writer's block?
Yeah. So, yeah, like in life of every writer, you would have one point in your time where you would exhaust yourself of words, you would exhaust yourself of feelings and emotions and passions and everything. Yes, I believe. I too had those moments in my life, those feelings in my life. But what I did was I wanted to turn these into opportunities. So that's how meditation has helped me a lot. You just have to concentrate on your breath, your inhalation and exhalation, and focus on it. And like it would work wonders in your life.
Ma'am, you've gotten 5 books published, so tell us a bit about the publishing process.
Okay, so the publishing process was actually quite easy for me. Like most of my books I have published on Amazon platform, and the latest one it is published by Notion Press. So it is also a self-publishing platform. And the publishing experience it was wonderful because I was able to reach to a maximum number of readers and audience.
Okay. Ma'am, eh, the-
Yeah.
okay, so this is going to be most probably my second last question. Any tips for aspiring writers watching this, or anything that you want to share that you would have wanted to know when you started writing?
Yeah, so I wanted to give the message to the young writers and inspiring writers. I just want to say that uh, to be a good writer, you have to read and never give up your dreams. So it is okay if it is not working now. At some point of your life, at some point of in your career, like you would be recognized one day or the other. So never give up, never give up your dreams, never give up your goals. Like you have to try, you have to like you have to turn even the failures into success. So that's the mindset you should have.
Okay. Last question from the audience. Do you hide any secrets in your books that only a few people will find?
Yeah, actually, there are secrets and there are no secrets. So the secret is like everything, it is based on all the themes and techniques that I have used. It is mainly based on Indian philosophy, again, going back to Vedas and Upanishads. And then there are no secrets because here I have given full justice to the characters, the theme, and the story which I have portrayed. Yeah.
Now, at the end, I'd like you to recite your favorite poem from Love Beyond Love, as it has 197 poems.
Yeah.
I'd like you.
Sure. So I would like to quote three, four. Like the first one, the thoughts scattered around me like an unending figment of phoenix ash. I trying to forget, and those relishing to conquer. Who won? Asked the mind. Whoever won, the defeat is mine, replied the heart. So here there is always a confusion between heart, mind, and soul. So to have the three in unison would be the greatest achievement of your life. And then into the grand voyages of the world, into the grand voyages of the world, I can still sense an intuition of several regions undiscovered. So this poem is like connecting with your inner self. And there is one message about feminism. What do you know about me? My color, my height, my negligence, my mistakes, my tribulations. And apart from it, do you believe that I exist too? And the last one is love poetry. There is no time to love and to be loved. There is no time to be loud and to love and to be loud. Suddenly, a message popped up. Don't you know that you are me? So these are my favorite quotes from the book, that is Love Beyond Love.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. And now, as we come to the end of today's live session, I'd like to
Yeah.
express a sincere gratitude to Dr. J. Vijayalakshmi for agreeing to have this session with us. So, thank you so much, ma'am, for gracing us with your presence.